All right, so the next story here, this is an interesting one. The U.S. is endangering troops by refusing to leave Niger. So a senior Air Force leader, a whistleblower, said in a letter to Congress that the Biden administration's refusal to withdraw from Niger, despite an order from the post-coup government to leave, has put U.S. troops in the country and in the region in danger. So this whistleblower said that senior officials at the U.S. Embassy in Niger have intentionally suppressed intelligence to maintain the facade of a great country-to-country relationship, as the U.S. is trying to figure out a way to maintain its military presence in Niger. The Nigerian government, known as the National Council for the Safeguard of the Homeland, said in March that it was severing military relations with the U.S. and that the U.S. presence was no longer legally justified. U.S. officials have claimed that they did not receive an order to exit the country. So this whistleblower said, quote, "It is clear that the country of Niger does not want a permanent military presence in the country, and they have informed us that we need to leave. At the same time, there are approximately 1,100 U.S. military service members in the country who are essentially being held hostage from returning home to their families, while the State Department continues with failed diplomacy by not communicating with the country of Niger on what their withdrawal plans will look like," end quote. And this letter was obtained by the Washington Post. So if you remember, there was a story I covered recently where Niger held talks with the U.S., and the Nigerian officials came out and said that the U.S. will soon submit a plan to disengage troops from Niger. Then when U.S. officials were asked about it, they refused to comment on the talks, and they did not confirm what Niger said. So something seemed a little funny there. And what he's saying is that they're not communicating with Niger on their withdrawal plan. So it seems like they're just trying to stall in kind of a desperate effort to stay in Niger. So since the July coup that ousted President Mohamed Bazoum, U.S. troops in Niger have been on orders to sit and hold. The whistleblower said that U.S. personnel have had their deployments extended because Niger is not approving new visas for troop rotations. The airman said that all U.S. forces were scheduled to end a 6-month deployment early this month when relief forces arrived, but they never got there. Representative Matt Gaetz, a Republican from Florida, there was a congressional hearing on this on Tuesday, and Gaetz said that he spoke with U.S. Army soldiers in Niger and described similar accounts. He said, quote, "There are Army soldiers right now in Niger who are not getting their troop rotations, who aren't getting their medicine, who aren't getting their supplies, who aren't getting their mail," end quote. The whistleblower said that the U.S. actions in Niger, quote, "have potential implications for our bilateral relations with other partner nations and the safety of our personnel in the region," end quote. So a pretty crazy situation, it sounds like, all, since the coup, the U.S. troops in the country have been on what they call a sit and hold order. They haven't been going out and doing any operations. They're just stuck at these bases, and they can't go home, even though the country they're in doesn't want them there. And this whistleblower was based at Airbase 101, which is in Niamey, the capital of Niger, or it's probably outside the city. But most U.S. personnel are stationed at Airbase 201, which is the big drone base that cost over $100 million to build. That's the big thing the U.S. doesn't want to give up. So that's what this is all about. And the fact that they're just kind of playing this game and lying and saying, oh, we haven't been told to leave, and probably doing what they can. I mean, it definitely puts the Americans who are there at risk. Being in a country, there's only 1,000 of them or so, and they're in a country that doesn't want them there.